Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us, LSCM633, another chair chats for the month of March. We are grateful to be back with you. Hello, roommates. Come on and like, love, and share, and invite somebody to join us on tonight. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Not that you ever are. And so, for those, this may be your first time, welcome to the room, Chair Chats. I am your host, Dr. Gina Crawford. And this is the place where we talk about what we talk about, real life, real talk, real time, real life, real talk. And so we want to welcome all of our roommates back on tonight. I am excited, as always, to have our guests in the room on tonight. Those people that you may not see all the time, you may not even know about, who are doing some absolutely phenomenal things. And so go ahead and get your coffee, get your tea, get your little midnight snack, whatever you're going to do, and hang out with us for a little while. I guarantee you will not be disappointed on tonight. So tonight, I am excited. I'm always excited anytime somebody agrees to come into the room, but I'm excited about tonight's chair chats once again because we got the dynamic duo, and they better act right. We got the dynamic duo in the house with us on tonight, none other than Mitchell and Tenia Hargett. Woo, burr, 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 burr. So listen, go ahead and like, love, and share. Call your friends into the room. Look, if you are their cousins, go ahead and log on. Family. Go ahead and log on. So we want to take this opportunity before they come on to thank them for this time, thank them for what they're about to share, and thank God for what they're about to pour out into us on tonight. And so I'm excited. We're going to bring them to the stage. We're not going to prolong the time. We are going to dive into some good conversation on tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, drum roll, please. Welcome to the Chair Chat stage, Mitchell and Tenia Hargett. Good evening, y'all.
Good evening.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good.
How are you?
They're like, good. They're like, okay, yeah, all right, we're really doing this, huh? Yeah, we're really doing this. And so, first of all, again, I want to say thank you guys for agreeing to do this on tonight. I'm excited about what's about to take place. Two of my favorite people in the whole wide world. So I just thank God for you. Thank God for all these doing. And I want to wish you guys a happy anniversary in advance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Y'all not excited? Like,
we are. It's been a long day.
It's
been a long day.
So
but we good. We good.
No, we are excited.
We are excited because we take.
They're like, it's like happy anniversary. They're like, yeah, we're excited. We're excited for you. We're excited for you. And so we are grateful for this time, this opportunity to hang out with us on tonight. Just to do some talking, just to do some chatting on tonight. So my first question is, who are the Hargetts?
Well, like you said, first off the rip, we have an anniversary coming up. March 29th will be 7 years. 7 years married. But I mean, we've been together for over a decade since college, into college. So I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. Where are you from?
I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. So in the North Carolina area, we're parents and
Parents of two boys.
Work full-time jobs, entrepreneurs on the side, and I think the most important thing is, we're a daughter and a son of the Most High. So
yeah, come on.
That's the biggest part. All right, I should have said that first, but I think that kind of sums us up. I mean, we're normal people. Like, we live normal lives. There's nothing that we do out of the ordinary. We raise our boys. We try to have fun in between doing all of that.
Yeah,
I love it. And the boys are so handsome. They're so handsome. They're just boys.
They are boys.
They are boys. They're just boys.
Underline
They're
boys.
just boys. They're just boys.
Yes.
And so I love the interaction with them. I love the fact that you guys are just hanging in. I love the fact that you say we'll sign in the door to the Most High. That's how we get to do all the things that we're doing. And so y'all, they are real humble because they do so much more than what they just told y'all. Yeah, we're just normal people. We just kind of do what we do. We just kind of, and so they're the people who make this thing look easy. They make it look easy. And you see both of them laughing. It's like,
You think?
What it ain't is easy.
Yeah.
And so we want to dive into some conversation with you on tonight. You mentioned the fact that you guys are entrepreneurs on the side. So I want to start off with this. What inspired you to start your business?
I can go first. So I have a juicing business, Pure Elixir, that I run, but then also to Tenia and my sister helped me out a lot. I'll be honest with you, like I didn't want to start. I didn't want to do it, right? Like I bought a juicer for some health benefits and just kind of for myself and for the family. And about 8 months into having a juicer, they were like, "You should start a business." And I was like, "Absolutely not! Like I don't want to do that." And so my sister Kirsten and I were like, "Yeah, these are really good. You should start a business." And I was like, "No." And I wrestled with that thing for the longest. And I was like, "Lord, like you're gonna have to show me that I need to start this." And long story short, my mom was having her, I don't remember what milestone it was, but it was a milestone birthday, and she wanted to highlight some businesses. I had not started the business yet, and she was like, "Why don't you just make some juices and just bring them to the party and see if they sell?" I probably made 30 or 40 juices, and they were all sold. And I was like,
It was a
okay.
hit.
I was like, "Oh, okay, Lord, like I get it. Like I told you to show me something, and you basically showed me." And so that's what prompted me to start it. It was never for, I look at my business and I say, right, like the money doesn't matter. It's more so about the impact and seeing people's lives change and seeing what the benefits of juicing can do. And my goal is to that. I want people, quite frankly, to put me out of business. Like, go buy a juice for yourself and juice for yourself, right? And do those things, and I'll continue to gain more clients. But just introducing people to a new lifestyle is the reason why I started, because I was introduced to the lifestyle, and it benefited me.
And they are absolutely phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely phenomenal. When I tell you absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And so when he said that he wants people to put them out of business, he doesn't mean that, guys. He was just saying it to be nice and humble. So because where am I going to get the juice from?
Well, the thing is like I want people to be like, "Oh, like these are so good," right? Like if I can't get access to them, like I have a juicer for myself, right? And so just like being able to do those things on their own, because I mean, I was buying juices at one point from the store and a grocery store, and I was like, let me just go ahead and buy me a juicer and invest in myself, right? Invest in my family, and that's what it was.
I love the fact that you said that, invest in myself and invest in my family. And then I love the fact, Mitchell, that you acknowledge that, hey, no, there are people helping me do this. There are people that are helping me do this. I can't do this by myself. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we like to take on everything ourselves because we feel like it's a sign of weakness if we have to have somebody to help us, or it's a sign of weakness if we have to ask for help. And so, again, you cannot do this by yourself. Just the mere fact that you was like, I didn't want to do this. So it just kind of like, hey, no, this is something that you're good at doing. So why not do it? Why not do the thing that you're good at doing? And so if you're out there and somebody is saying, well, no, I don't want to do this, and you know that you are good at doing something, let me tell you something. There's so many people out there who need what you have. So I'm glad you decided to start. I'm glad you decided to start. Tenia, what you got going on?
Well, I have a blog called A Time of Reflection that I started back in 2020, right at the thick of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. And I lost my job, which was a prayer that was answered, honestly. Just was tired of what I was doing and the work that I was doing, and was wanting something different. And I told the Lord, I was like, either you're going to have to get me out of this job or I'm going to quit. And he got me out of the job. I got laid off due to the pandemic, laid off in May. And the blog came from one weekend. My dad, they asked me to write like a little devotional piece for their church. I did it, and afterwards some people were like, you write really well. And my best friend Deanna was like, I think there's something there, Tenia. And I was like, Are you sure? Never been one, like, when you think about like being in school and having to write and do essays and all that, I'm like, who wants to spend I don't want to do that. But I've published that first one, and the Lord was like, this is what I've called you to do. Like, I have placed this gift on the inside of you to write. And the Lord speaks to me as I'm writing. He, tells me what to write, or I, think on something that I'm going through, or, whatever the case is, or something that he highlights. And I write, and he shows up every time I have written. And I've had the blog since 2020. I took a break going into 2021. I took a break, was pregnant with our first kid, Tristan. We were living in Indiana, moved back home to North Carolina. So I took a break, and I took a break too long, because then I had some friends that were like, are you not writing anymore? And I was like, I thought about it, but I hadn't started it back up. And they're like, well, you need to pray about it. And I did pray about it, and they continued to push me. And then the Holy Spirit was like, this is your final nudge. Start writing again. And I picked it back up in 2023, and I haven't stopped since. And recently the Lord led me to even start like doing recordings, videos to kind of go in between my blogs. So I'm doing that as well. I haven't written one in a few weeks now, but still, thinking on things to talk about, content to talk about. So it's still there. And no plans to stop. No plans to stop.
I want to say I am excited to know that you all have people around you who recognize the gift in you. And there are so many people who don't have that. There are so many people who are struggling. And to have people to say, no, you have something inside of you. You have something, that other people need. That is truly a blessing, which means that, it's a testament to you and who you are. And just the fact that people can see, no, there's something that you need to tap into that God has already put inside of you. And so literally it's where it takes that, sometimes we will downplay what we have. We will downplay and be like, no, that's just a little something I do on the side. I just write a little piece here, right here, right there, right everywhere. And literally God is like, no, that's something that I'm using to give you the multiple streams of income. And so, I deem it a blessing when you have people to push you and say, hey, which says to, it speaks to your level of humility. Yeah. The fact that, you guys are not like, hey, boom, we all that and a bag of chips. It's just like somebody else has to tell you, no, there's something in you. So that is truly, truly a blessing. Tell us about the halftime. Hargett halftime. What is that? You got juicing over here. You got blogging, vogging over here. And now you got Hargett halftime. What is with that?
So Hargett halftime was birthed out of COVID. We were in Indiana. We were by ourselves. We were in the house, and we were like, let's start recording. Like, let's start a podcast. Like, let's talk. I think it was more so for us than it was for anyone else. We were so far away from family, we couldn't get home. And so that was our way of communicating with other people. And so we did that podcast for probably about a year. And then, Tristan came, and, we were still in the pandemic, and we're in the process of buying a home. Right now, the podcast is in a sabbatical. We'll say that. And I think that's intentional, right? I think, there's stories right now that we're experiencing, and that is going to birth, more episodes. And quite frankly, right, like, we just don't have the time in the day right now. Like, from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, between, being parents and, working and, getting ourselves together, like, that consumes most of our day. And so we want to be intentional about how we record, and just not record because we have to, right? We
Right.
want to make sure that we're giving people something to listen to and relate to. But yeah, I mean, that's a little bit about the podcast, and I can probably give you a little bit more about some of the content and what it's about.
Yeah, so it's really just a culmination of like life. We talk about marriage, we talk about relationships, friendships. We really took the time to like sit and say, okay, like, well, what would we want to talk about? Like, you know, what topics like are we seeing, in like social media? Like, what are our friends talking about? Things that we can, expand on, things that we have experience in. And that's where most of our, like Mitchell said, our episodes come from, is like we think about, like I said, life. What are we experiencing? What's going on in the world? We had an episode about, all of the police brutality that was going on, that it was so heavy during that time. And we had an episode about that. We've had an episode about, the quote unquote work wives and work husbands. We've talked about that. Yeah, we've talked about, of course, marriage and relationships. We've talked about friendship. We've talked about our kids. We've talked about our church journey. So we really kind of, on that podcast, we lay it all out. We don't hold back. We consider ourselves to be open books when it comes to that platform, because, that's how people relate to you. Like when you share your story, when you share your testimony, so that people can relate to that and be like, oh, okay, I went through that, or I'm experiencing that right now, or, oh, that's something for me to think about in the future. So it's our baby. Like you said, we're on sabbatical right now, but it's something that we are constantly talking about, thinking about, like, what's the next episode? When are we gonna, be able to have that time to come back and record, for sure? Because the people have been asking.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have. I love the fact that, when given the opportunity and given the platform, that you all are being responsible with it. There's so many people out here who have a voice and they have a platform and they're using it to bring them glory. But the mere fact that you all are showing a level of stewardship to say, this platform does not belong to us. We're just the vessels that God is using to share things that are necessary. And so I applaud you for that. And I'm sure people are asking, hey, because we need it. We need something positive. We need some positive examples. We need to hear some things that are real, but also some things that are coming from people who are godly, to say, hey, no, this is not us. This is God working through us. And so, I'm excited. I'm waiting for it to come back whenever it decides to come back. And speaking of time, so that leads me to my next question. How do you all balance it all? With working full time, your parents, you're active in your ministry and in your church, and you're doing all the things, family. How do you balance it all?
By the grace of God.
Honestly,
You're like, I don't know what kind of deep answer you're looking for, but here it is. By the grace of God.
By the grace of God. I really feel like the Lord has graced us, and I always use the example of our church. So our church is 2 hours away. We're in South Carolina. Our church is in North Carolina. And we drive to our church, shout out Revival Now Global Church in Greensboro, North Carolina. We make that commute 2.5 hours, 2 to 3 times a month. And, everybody's like, I don't know how y'all do it. Why don't y'all just move? Why don't y'all just find a church closer to where y'all are? And I tell people, I was like, the Lord literally graced us to be able to make the drive, stay the full weekend. My mom stays in Greensboro, so we have a place to stay when we go. So we make a full weekend of it. That way the boys are able to spend time with their grandma. But I really can't say anything but the Lord. Of course, we sacrifice,
right,
as well. But it's really just the Lord carrying us and allowing us to be able to make those drives and, make it through the day, working and parenting and ministry. Like, the Lord was like, this is what I have for you. And if you continue to keep me in the front of it, you come to me when you need me, you come to me when things are good, when things are bad, you keep me in the center, you communicate with one another, I'm gonna make it work for you. The path is laid, just follow it. And that's what we try to do. We don't always get it right,
Right.
but we try to, just remain honest, remain, open and transparent. And we just like, Lord, how you want us to do this? What you want us to do? Because I don't know today.
Can I tell you that somebody needed to hear that? Like literally, somebody needed to hear the fact that you drive 2.5 hours a couple of times a month, because that's the place where God planted you. That's the place where you're supposed to be. And so, there are people who won't drive 10 minutes away. But to hear, if this is where God says that I'm supposed to be, and I know that there's something there for me, then you have to make the sacrifice. I think sometimes, during during the times that we're living in, we want everything to be convenient. We want everything to be right there, handed to us. And so just the mere fact that, you're saying, hey, no, this is non-negotiable. This is what God is telling us to do. So this is what we're going to do. Somebody needed to hear that on tonight. Somebody needed to hear that. Somebody needed to hear that. So I'm glad that you shared that with us. The fact that, no, we get up and travel. We don't use the kids as an excuse to say, oh, no, we can't go. Oh, no, I'm too tired. So thank you for sharing that on tonight. For those who are just joining us, we are in our chair chat room on tonight where we talk about what we talk about. And tonight we are joined by the Hargetts. And so they are sharing their life with us. They're sharing some things with us. And so I ask that you like, love, and share. And go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, LSCM633. So listen, y'all are blessing me. Y'all are blessing me. So let me ask you this. Out of all of the things that you've done, you're getting ready, you're celebrating another year of marriage. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned? Parenting, faith, entrepreneurship, in your work life. What are some of the big lessons that you've learned? Why are you looking at her?
I thought she was. I thought
you want to go? You want me to
go? I think tonight just said it. Like, you're not always going to get it right, right? We mess up every day, right? As parents, as daughters and sons, as husband and wife, as entrepreneurs, as employees of our 9 to 5, as friends. Like, we don't always get it right, and that's okay. And I think once you're okay with that, then that's when you can really start to really walk into your purpose. Because if you're always trying to be perfect and have this facade that you're all put together, we talk about this all the time at our church. Or recently, like, you're doing nothing but performing. All right, you've put on this mask and you're performing in front of people, but then you go behind closed doors and you're wrecked, right? Because you spent all day trying to make it seem like you have it all together. And so, in balancing it all, like, I know for me, right, like, kind of going back to your previous question, like, how do you do it from a practical standpoint? For me, right, I make sure that I get up early so that I can get myself together before my wife wakes up, right? That's what I do. And so I get up, I read, I pray, I do whatever I need to do, unless Miles wakes up in that time frame, which he often does. And I spend that intentional time getting myself together. That sets the tone for the day for me, right? And so, but then also too, like, being able to say, like, no, I'm not okay today. Like, boys, like, y'all got to give me a second. Like, tonight, like, I'm not okay. At my job, like, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not coming into the office today because I don't feel good, or whatever the case may be. So just being able to be vulnerable, I think, is what I've learned. When you have to juggle so many things, even if you're juggling one thing, right? You have to be vulnerable.
I think for me, it's communication. So it really rides on the heels of what Mitchell said. I think communication is the biggest thing, is being able to communicate, I need help, or I don't have the capacity for this, or I need you to help me figure this out. If I'm stressing about something, like, communication is key for us. Like, we have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to have hard conversations,
Yes.
conversations that make us uncomfortable. Um, because I believe that is the only way that we're going to be able to continue to move forward and continue to grow, and continue to learn. And the Lord has really tested us here recently in our communication. Like, let me see how well y'all can actually communicate versus, you know, retreating to yourself and holding things in and holding tension within yourself. Um, we've just really learned, like, okay, like, no, we have to actually talk about
Mm-hmm.
everything. Like, we got to pray, we got to talk to each other. You know, if we need to talk to somebody else, or, you know, wise counsel, like communication, like we have to communicate all around. And that's also showing our boys too, like, this is
Yes.
how you communicate. Like, you got to be able to talk to one another. And, you know, even with Tristan, like constantly having conversations with him and, you know, talking with him so he understands, like, I don't have to, you know, try to hide how I'm feeling, or, you know, if I've done something, you know, wrong or whatever the case is. Like, always communicate, always talk about it. Don't hold anything in, because holding stuff in, like, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping anybody
No.
else. So communication for sure.
I love that. Just the fact that you said sometimes we don't like to have the hard conversations, but they're necessary. And
Yes.
that's how you continue, especially in marriage. That's how you continue to grow and learn each other, because you're not the when you are not the same people that you were when you got married. You grow individually and still getting to know each other. Heck, you're still getting to know yourself. And
Yes.
so, you really have to have those conversations. This is where I am now. This is what I need now. I absolutely love Tristan. Tristan, it's him and the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Rah!
Him and the dinosaurs, and then he's got Miles in on it too now. So both of them, if it's not dinosaurs, it's Lion King.
Mhm.
I
It's
love
it's
it.
it's one of the two.
I love it. And just the mere fact that you made mention of that, you all are setting the example of how to communicate. We, being an educator, I see it every day. It's where our children, oftentimes, they don't know how to communicate because nobody's talking to them. Nobody's setting
Oh,
the example, or they have very, limited examples of having communication. And so just the mere fact that, you're teaching them at such an early age, it's like it will grow up in them. It's like, no, this is our norm. Being able to communicate is our norm. And
Mhm.
yeah.
so, I applaud you guys for that. I want to know what are some boundaries? I know you guys are young, you have friends, you have family. What are some boundaries you have set to help protect all that God is doing, that God is building, including your marriage and your family? What are some boundaries you have set? Is it to the point where it's like whenever somebody calls you, hey, we're right there, we need, when you need us? What boundaries have you set for yourselves?
That's a good question. I think for boundaries, right? I think the biggest thing for me is, being considered the head of the house, and being the head of the house is like not letting anyone interrupt what we have going on here, right?
Mm,
That's emotionally, spiritually, physically, and so making sure that the four of us are okay, right? I can't go and do for other people unless, if my house not taken care of, I can't take care of nobody else, and so really making sure that, our boys are taken care of, for me tonight is taken care of. And that's a boundary that we've set. I think we've also, we've set a boundary, and this is with the boys, of not, um, what's the right word? Not giving in on what we truly believe in when it comes to like certain things that they do in school around like
mhm,
faith-based things. Perfect example, like Halloween and some of the other things that the kids may celebrate at school. Like, that's a no for us. And so we set that boundary early with the teachers. And that's something that Tristan understands and something that Miles will come to understand. So I think those would
mhm.
be the two biggest things, just making sure that we're always setting those boundaries to make sure that we're always protected.
I think another boundary too, that we really try to uphold, and we have upheld really well, is with the boys, just protecting their gates,
Mm,
what they watch, what they hear, what they see.
yes.
Mitchell and I are very, very intentional about that when it comes to family, grandparents, language, conversations. Like we have had to have conversations like, hey, you got to watch the way you talk around these babies, particularly Tristan, because Tristan is that kid that is paying attention. And
Yes.
he is asking questions. Like, he'll, like, sometimes Mitchell and I are talking and he'll kind of like pick up on a word and then he'll run with the word and we just like, what are you talking about? So, we have stressed that with our village. Like, you have to watch what you say, watch what you watch. Like, we're not afraid to, hey, don't say that. Hey, watch your mouth. Like, we're not afraid to do that, because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And then before you know it, they're picking up on stuff. Then they're
Yes.
taking that stuff back to school and sharing it with their friends. And then it's a snowball effect. So we are very intentional with them when it comes to what they hear, what they see. And if we can discern that they don't need to be around certain people, we like, no, we not rocking with that, because things get attached. We know that spirits we not doing any of that, because then we have to fight in war and reverse whatever has happened. So no, we protect our boys at all costs, even at the expense of, like, Mitchell and we have shows that we like to watch. We have stopped watching our shows because of the curiosity of the boys. When they hear the TV going, they be like, oh, what y'all watching? What y'all? And it's like, nope. Got to find a different time to catch up on our shows. So parenting just brings out, if you didn't have boundaries about stuff before, parenting, it brings out the boundaries. And we have boundaries within our marriage too. Like, we have a trusted few people that we talk to, if we need to have conversations about marriage. But, we really try to keep any, issues or whatever between us. Like, let's work this out first. Let's try to talk through it first. Let's pray about it first before we bring other people into what we have going on. So we really try to be intentional, and not letting people, I've heard that my therapist told me, like, when you set boundaries, they're not for other people. They're actually for yourself, so that you don't step out on what you're trying to uphold for the sake of other people, or for the sake of people pleasing, or whatever the case is. So we uphold those boundaries for us too, so that we don't falter on them.
I absolutely love it. I mean, and you are both of you are, you hit it dead on, where it's like, if your house is not good, how am I going to help take care of somebody else's house? Especially in terms of children, and what they hear and what they see. We don't think they're listening, but trust me, they are. They are. I remember I was in the car and I was spelling a word. And so I'm thinking, if I spell it clearly. And so after I spelled the word, he was like, he said the word, he was like, hey, Ma, did you forget I can spell? Oh, man. completely forgot the child can spell. And so, it does make you aware of your conversations and what what you're doing. And so it's the same thing, here it's where there are certain shows that we like to watch, but we know that we can't watch them when he's in the room. And then by the time he goes to sleep and it's time for us to watch the show, sometimes we too sleepy to even watch it. So,
in the bed,
it's like, just forget it. We'll just catch up. We'll do something like just catch up. But I love the fact that you said that, you have boundaries within your family, you have boundaries within your marriage, because even at an early age, early in your marriage, even in parenting, those boundaries are necessary. Those non-negotiables are necessary. And so just to hear that you are consistent with it, just the mere fact that you said it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's school. It doesn't matter if it's family. These are the boundaries that we have set because we are protecting our children. We know that their spirits are vulnerable to certain things. And so, I applaud you guys. But man, y'all told y'all this is going to be some good conversation on tonight. I told y'all didn't believe me. I told you this was not going to disappoint. So here's the other thing. if you had to pick and choose to say that there were certain people or certain uh, periods of time in your life that helped to shape who you are now, how would you speak to that? It could be people, it could be just certain periods of your life. What has influenced you to get to where you are now?
I definitely think that the growth in our faith and in our spiritual walk has definitely been one of the biggest growth tracks for us. Just, thinking about where we started, when we first got married, to where we are now, and, having a church home and having a place where we are discipled, where we do grow. I think that is one of the biggest drivers for our growth is our faith, and having those hard conversations and holding each other accountable. Are you praying? Are you reading your word? Like, how are you feeling? What has the Lord been speaking to you about, or whatever the case is. But I think that's the biggest thing for us. And of course, we have community. We have, friends that attend church with us, our pastors. We have friends that we talk to as well, that keep us accountable and that help to disciple us. And I think too, I think over the last like year and a half, I think we've really had a lot of growth, within our marriage. And I even think too, what was I about to say? Like I lost my train of thought. What you got? I lost my train of thought.
I love that.
was
What you
Just
got?
pass it to me.
I was going somewhere.
No, I mean, I think we're right in it right now. Just the community that we've been surrounded with, through church, through just everyone that is in our circle. We're in that right now of just the growth, and I think that's really shaped us for who we are, and where we are set to go. I think for me personally, and I think I've told this story before, on another platform, of me when I moved to Indiana by myself, right? That was a huge growing point for me, of just growing up, right? Like I was 20 something, young, 22, 23, maybe a little older, no older than 25, in Indiana by myself, Louisville by myself, and just really growing up and having to learn just life, right? Just how to do things without parents, with no friends, right? Like what happens if you got to take yourself to the emergency room, right? Like little things like that. Oh, you got to go to the grocery store today, right? Like some of the practical things, right? Of just like, oh, you by yourself. Like you can't call mom and dad and be like, hey, y'all cooking tonight? Like, let me come over and get a plate. So from like that was very, very important to me. But then also too, just really finding out things about myself. I think when you're in a city or when you're isolated, right? Like that's when the Lord really speaks to you about you. And I learned a lot about myself, and that helped me to get ready, to be married, and to be a father. So,
And the kids, having kids will force you to grow up in a very quick pace, a very rapid pace. You have to confront a lot of things that you thought that you were healed from, or fruit of the spirit that you thought that you had that you actually don't have. Like for me, it's patience. Tristan and Miles, they are growing it, because I'm like, I don't have it, and I'm like, at this point, you have to have something, because and they bring it out of me. It's like, nope, we're gonna keep working this thing. We're gonna keep working the patience thing, and it is forcing me to grow up, and it has also forced me to confront like my childhood.
Ooh,
and having to grow up from my childhood and heal my inner child, which is it's a very active thing that I'm still working through. But if don't nothing else force you to grow up, your kids
Yes.
will force you to grow up.
Yes, they will. They will. And and which is a good thing, because sometimes I don't know about you all, but oftentimes I'll look at Logan and it's like I see so much of myself in him.
Yes. Yes. Tristan is me.
He's
Tristan
putting
is
a
me.
finger.
Boy. Tristan is the boy version of me. And we bump heads. We are just alike in every way. Like we're very in tune with our emotions, very emotional people. We talk a lot, we ask questions. That is Tristan. And every day I'm like, I've called my mom like, when I was this age, did I used to that? My mom was like, yeah, you did that. Yeah, you did that too. You definitely did that. And I'm like, it's nothing, a mirror. Like literally, Tristan is me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how help, Lord.
Literally help, Lord.
I don't think anybody could have ever prepared me for, people talk about, oh, when you have kids, but nobody has ever been like, your kids are going to show you who you really are.
Yes, they will show you who you really are. Like sometimes, things will happen around here. Logan will say something, and I'm like, oh my goodness, And so, literally, Robert's like, he said, "Hey, come here, let me show you something." And I'm thinking he's about to show me something, right? He shows me the mirror.
That's hilarious.
And he's like, why you're having such a hard time with this? Look in the mirror. So every time you ask, well, where did this kid come from? Well, why is he like it? He's like, look in the mirror. That's you. But it does make you pay attention. It does make you grow up. Apostle Latrice said, "Child, my granddaughter making me grow up again."
I believe that's true for the grandparents too.
Yes,
I do. So everybody just
nobody's safe.
Nobody is safe.
Nobody's safe. Nobody is safe. When it comes to kids, nobody's safe. Like you really will see a lot of yourself. You'll see, a lot of, oh my goodness, did I do that? And so it's like my mom, I asked her, I think Logan had done something one time and I think I was frustrated. I was just like, I can't believe he did that. And so she's sitting there laughing. And I'm looking at her like, so we laughing while I'm going through what I'm going through. And she said, because you getting it all back.
Getting it back and
getting it all back. I don't remember that, but I mean, she's like, no, you're getting it all back. But there's such a joy to have. Again, they are really a blessing to have, and it's upon us to steward their lives well. We're called to steward them well, which means we do have to know ourselves. And so tonight you tapped into that part where, okay, I got to deal with the unhealed me because I don't want this thing to be generational.
No, I don't want to bleed on my boys.
Yeah. Oh, I'm about to throw this boy at you.
I don't. And I catch myself.
Ooh, that's often, good.
I catch myself often like, stop. Because like I said, that trauma, I'll tell you, like I had a dream one night and like Tristan was in the dream and something happened and I kind of like went off on him or something. And there was like this voice, or it was a man or something that was in the dream. And he was like, if you're not careful, you're going to kill him. If you don't watch what you say and how you say it, you will kill him. And I woke up from that dream and I immediately knew I have to watch how I speak to Tristan in my frustration, in my lack of patience, because I don't think it was like literally kill, but I think like spiritually kill him, emotionally kill him, to where he doesn't feel like he can open up and that he can talk, or that he's fearful of me. So that dream was a wake-up call for me that I really have to be intentional with my words, especially, Tristan and Miles, but particularly I knew that dream was particularly for Tristan. Yes. Because Mitchell can tell you, like, I be getting frustrated. I get frustrated with Tristan, but I know it's also because I see me, and I'm like,
That's you.
it's me, and I don't. I'm like, Lord, can I have a break? Can we time out? Like, time out, please. So
He's like, nope.
no timeouts.
But I love the fact that you recognize that, you paid attention to it and you didn't dismiss it.
No.
You didn't dismiss it as, oh, it's just a dream. It's just something that I had. It must have been something that I ate, this and the other. And so we do have to pay attention, how we talk to our kids. Sometimes I will be saying something to Logan or chastising Logan. And literally, God's like, hey, that same grace that I give you. Yeah. How about you practice that?
Yeah.
How about you practice that? How about you practice that? So, Mitchell, I want to ask you, in the times that we're living in, what is it like for you to be a father to these boys, for the world that we're living in?
It's the hardest job. I've said this before, and I even said it to my parents and to Tania's parents, right? Like, raising a Black boy is the hardest job in the world. You want to protect them so much. You want to keep them innocent so much. But the world doesn't look at them that way.
No.
And so I struggle to balance keeping them innocent, but making sure that they know that they're not like their friends and they will never be like their friends. And so, yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? And because I've been there, I've been in situations before that I shouldn't have been in, not because I did anything, but because of the way I looked, right?
Right.
And so, like, that is something that I pray about all the time. Like, Lord, just help me. Like, just help me to make sure that I'm saying the right things, I'm doing the right things, that I am making sure that I hear their emotions, but I also make sure that they understand that there's a certain accountability that I'm going to hold you to. And you have to be able to respect authority, and you have to be able to do these things, because you don't get passes. You will not get passes like some of your friends that don't look like you. And so accountability is big for me in the house with Tristan, even with Miles at 2, right? Like, there's a certain expectation. I'll give you an example. We were at T-ball practice last year or something, and I was getting on Tristan, and I think some of the parents thought I was getting on him about hitting the baseball. I don't care if Tristan hits the T-ball 3 times, 5 times, no times. I don't care. What I cared about was that he listened. And I was getting on him about not listening. But the other parents that don't look like us didn't understand that even at 3 or 4, right? Like, if he's not listening, he's deemed as, oh, he's bad. He don't want to listen, But if your child acts out, then it's like, oh, well, that's just their personality. And they're just 3. And so holding him to that standard is something that I do quite often. It doesn't always feel good, because I'm like, I do want him to be a 3-year-old. I do want him to run around and play. But, like, that's just not the nature that we're in. And so it's really, really tough. And it's something that I struggle with all the time.
And the fact that you all recognize that, there are 2 things that I hear that are standing out. One thing is that neither one of you shy away from accountability. And the other piece is, both of you said it in different points, but both of you said, Lord, help me. I have to ask the Lord to help me. And so you have an understanding that I cannot do this by myself. I can't be married on my own. I can't parent on my own. I can't run a business on my own. And so, sometimes we try to do things in our own strength, and then we get frustrated. And then we think it's we always think it's the enemy and this and the other. And literally God's like, well, I'm here, right? you know I'm the one that kind of orchestrated this whole thing, right? So why would you not ask me for help? So just the mere fact that you all are saying that, and I think this conversation is very rich because of your age. There are people who will look at you and just assume that, oh, they don't know, young whippersnappers, they don't know nothing about life. No, we're talking about you frustrated. Don't nothing getting on your nerves, but just for the fact that you all are in the space and the time that you are in life, and you're saying, no, we're not afraid to say that we love God. We're not afraid to say that, we struggle. We're not afraid to say that, there are things that we need to work on. We're not afraid to say that, yeah, sometimes we need help. And so I think I think that is amazing, because sometimes we don't like to have these type conversations because we don't want people to think about us a certain way.
Yeah.
It's, and you said it, Mitchell, this whole thing of we got to pretend, we got to pretend like everything's okay. But when you get behind closed doors, it is a complete mess. It is utter chaos. And so to see that, and for you to be transparent about it, I think that is absolutely phenomenal. Let me ask you this. How would the two of you, individually and together, how would you define success? Knowing what you know about life, knowing what you know about who you are together, knowing about what you know about who you are individually, how do you define success based on the world's standards? Like literally, do you tap into what the world is saying? How do you define success? Y'all, I don't know what they looking at.
I think looking up in the space, like trying to find the answer. Wow, that's a good question. Success. I think for me, success is tied for me around happiness and feeling fulfilled. I say that, and I work in corporate America, and I do care about how much I make because I understand that provides for my family, right? And so I think there's a fine balance for me, at least, and people can agree to disagree of like, yes, I want to be happy, right? And I want to make sure that what I'm doing is fulfilling me, but I'm not going to go be happy and make a certain amount of money that I can't provide for my family because that's going to stress me out, right? And the Lord has given me these capabilities and these skills to be able to do this job. And so I have to make sure that I'm doing that and enjoying it while I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so while it's not all about the money, it is about making sure that what you make is being able to fulfill your family and keep your family sustained, right? I think a lot of people don't talk about that. I think people are just like, oh, like I'm just happy, and it's just like, well, I mean, yeah, that's great, and it's not anything wrong with making a decent dollar for your family. And so I always say that, right? Like I'm not out here like chasing, the dollar, but I do want to make sure that, right, like I can do things for my family and my family
Right.
is taken care of. And so I think individually for me, like that's what it's about, is making sure that I'm in a good place to where I'm happy with what I'm doing. But then also too, like I do things on the side, like the podcast, like the Juice in Business, right? That's not tied to a dollar amount, right? It's tied to me being able to pour into people.
Took my answer.
And then, sorry. But then also too, like the job that I work in now, right? I work in talent acquisition, so I do a lot of recruiting, right? And like for me, that's fulfilling, right? Like seeing people like because of me reaching out to them or because me pulling their resume, like become gainfully employed. Like I have stories from when I was in Indiana about people that I hired that never was able to purchase a house, that because I gave them an opportunity, like they purchased a house, they were able to get a family. Like, so like that right there makes me happy. Like when people are able to get promoted, right. And provide for their family and win awards within their job and feel fulfilled. Like that's what makes me happy. And that's what I tie success for around working. Family wise, right. Like as long as they good, like I'm pretty good. Like I'm pretty low maintenance, right? Like there's not much that I need. Give me a few pair of shoes and an Xbox, and I'll
And you're
figure
good.
everything else out. And my Bible, and I'll figure everything else out.
Come on, baby.
I see tonight you looking at you like, what? Okay, then I see you looking at him, girl. Like, okay. I love
He
it.
also
I
legit
love
took
it.
my answer. We must be in the spirit, because I was gonna say, I mean, of course, like I agree. Some type of income coming in, but for me, like it's impact, like the impact that I'm able to make in people's lives, like with the blog, like being able to talk about different things that people may be experiencing, or just giving them something to think about if they experience it in the future, you know. Same with the podcast. And you know, I'm also in talent acquisition as well, and I always get a kick out of, like, when I talk to candidates and they get on these calls and they're so nervous. And like at the end of the calls, like I've had candidates say like, "You really made me feel like I could just talk to you. Like I didn't feel nervous at all." And I'm like, "I don't want you to feel nervous. I don't want this to feel robotic." So like
Right.
if I can make an impact on somebody, if I can, you know, make somebody feel safe, you know, to be able to, you know, interview or share their story, like even coworkers that like I've been able to have conversations with, you know, to encourage them, like that means a lot to me. Like that's the way that I define success, like being able to make an impact in people's lives and, you know, encouraging people, you know, helping people to reflect and see things that they didn't see before. But of course, you know, being employed by corporate America, you know, being able to help, you know, my husband provide for our family and, you know, whatever little things on the side. But definitely those two. But you definitely took my answer about the impact part.
That's a good thing. That means
It
that you
is.
guys, y'all are together. Y'all are instinct. I absolutely love it. Can I tell you what? I'm sitting here and I'm trying to contain myself. I hear marriage retreat.
Okay.
Why y'all laughing?
We're just listening.
I hear marriage retreat. I hear that you all will be hosting one.
Hmm.
Y'all see how they both nod their heads like, yeah, you heard that, but we gonna wait till we hear it. I hear it. I hear marriage retreat because you have so many people again, and it's not just about people your age. You know, sometimes we assume that you know because people have been married a long time or been together for a long time that you know but there are some people who have been married for 30, 50 years and they don't have nearly as much knowledge that you all have. And so, you know, I just thank God for this conversation and thank God that, you know, as you are embarking upon this next anniversary, like literally he's going to do something in you collectively and individually. And so you know I hear marriage retreat. I hear it's going to be for you know people who are just like, how do we do this thing God's way, and how do we do this and be transparent? How do we do this and be okay if we're messing up? How do we do this and be okay with people looking at us and thinking that we have it all together, but us having the open and honest conversation to say, hey, we really don't have it all together.
Yeah.
You know, how do we do this thing called parenting, you know, with young kids in the world that we're living in now? You
Yeah.
know, when people are constantly saying, no, you got to do it this way, no, you got to do it this way, you know, even with the boundaries that you've set. And now the world that we're living in is say, hey, do whatever you want to do. You're free to do whatever you want to do. You're free to be who you want to be. And so that's literally what I hear. I hear marriage retreat. And I pray, you know, that God will continue to bless you and keep you and just give you those downloads that you need, because you are really, when you talk about the fact that you want to be impactful, sometimes the most impactful people don't know that they're being impactful
That's good.
because they just do it. And just watching you two for the past year and a half, 2 years, is just watching this is who you are. You know, it's not like you're trying to push to be this, but this is really who you are, and it's very authentic. And so, you know, I am blessed just to be able to sit with you all on tonight and to hear this conversation and to hear these things. Again, you know, you don't know that you're already making an impact. Sometimes people may not even see or say anything to you, but I guarantee you that people are watching y'all. They're watching you. They're watching you. They may never say anything to you, but they are watching you. And the people that are watching are the people that other people assume have it all together. But the
Mhm.
mere fact that you decided to say, yes, we'll be on here tonight. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be open. We're going to be honest. And we're going to be honest about our faith. We're going to be honest about the fact that we can't do this without God. So I want to ask you, what advice, as we're kind of wrapping up, what if we got to do a part 2, y'all? What if we got to do a part 2? What advice would you give young Christians, and not just young Christians who are entrepreneurs, but young Christians, not just young Christians who are married, but young Christians who are trying to say, hey, I'm trying to do this thing the right way, but there's so many things that I have tugging on me. There's so many things that I have pulling on me. You talk about your church, and you talk about, your leadership and people holding you accountable in your community. What advice do you have to those who are like, I really have the desire to do this thing, but there's so many things that are pulling at me?
I think you just said it right. Find you a church that is going to spiritually feed you, that's going to hold you accountable, that's going to love on you, that's going to be there for you when you need them. I think that's the important thing, right? Like, growth has to happen. And there's so much going on in the world. Like, as
Mhm.
Christians, like, we cannot not be, we can't be covered. We can't go uncovered, right? Like, we have to be covered by someone, by, a church, someone that is praying for us. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, find you a church that preaches the Bible, right? Find you a church that does community, right? Like, it's not just you going to church on Sunday and then you got a church and you don't see them people again until Sunday at 11 o'clock, whenever you at church, right? Like, that's actively doing the things to help you, right? I mean, that's, for me, that's been the biggest, like, shameless plug. Like, RNG is like Revival Now Global in Greensboro, like, has been it for me and for us and our family, right? Like, just the community, just the teachings, just the covering, just the accountability, not only from my pastors, but by friends that we've met, by other leaders. Like, that it's just something that, like, once you get into it, like,
Mhm.
you talk about driving 2 hours, like, it's nothing to drive 2 hours, because I know that when I go, I'm leaving with something. So that's what I would say. Find you a church.
He took my answer again.
Yeah, it basically falls
I'm gonna let her speak first. Next time.
For me, it's community, which is, within the church and then outside of the four walls. But community is really, it is the key. Like, we were never meant to do life alone. Like, that doesn't mean like, oh, I got to be married, or, oh, no, that's friendships, that's covenant friendships, that's church, that's communities, different outlets, community, like people to hold you accountable, people to pray for you and pray with you, people to encourage you and build you up, people to correct you.
Mhm.
I think that's how me and we are able to walk this Christian life out, walk it out, is we are surrounded by community, and we also are community for other people too. Like, we have, we people that we talk to, have conversations with, we encourage, all of the things. So community is my answer. Like, you can try to do it by yourself, you will get only but so far. And I mean that in the most respectable way. You will only get but so far. But when you have people around you, pushing you, holding you accountable, helping you grow, helping you learn, like that makes all of the difference. And it makes the walk more, enjoyable. Yeah.
I just love y'all. Y'all know that, though.
We love you.
I have enjoyed this time, man. When I tell you, I have really enjoyed this time. So yeah, we got to do a part 2. We got to come back and do a part 2. We may even have to do this thing in person. I don't know. My wheels are turning. My wheels are turning, man. For real, my wheels are turning. I am so grateful that you all gave your yes for tonight. I'm telling you that you have really blessed some people on here. Just again, your level of transparency, just the mere fact that you're saying, hey, our faith is our foundation, in being entrepreneurs and being parents and just living and being married. And so I want to thank you again for this time together on tonight. I want to thank you for just your honesty and your openness. And I pray, and I'm sure our audience can agree, we pray that this anniversary is one of the best anniversaries. We pray that God will continue, knowing that He will continue to cover you individually and together. We are praying that you will enjoy this journey called life. There's no coincidence. There's no coincidence that you two are together. When I tell you, you are very impactful individually and together. And so, to see that even your children will be that way. Your children will be as impactful, if not more than you are. And so we continue to speak life over you. We continue to speak life and wholeness and healing and all the blessings that you can't even hold on to, that you can't even fathom, that God has for you. And so I want you to know that y'all know I love you, that, I just thank God for all that He's doing in you and through you and to you. And I think I read Pastor Melissa said up front, she was like, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I thank God for your community. I thank God, that you all are. I thank God that you're teachable. I thank God that you're teachable. You have a lot of people your age, no, you're not even your age. You got a lot of people, period, who are just not teachable nowadays, because everybody knows everything, everybody wants to prove it, and so literally just to hear. And of course, all of us have work to do. And so, we pray blessings upon blessings over you, over your marriage, that God will continue to cover you. Like y'all go have fun. Y'all go do something. Just go be, even if it's go get some ice cream or something. Just go do that.
Yes.
Go get some ice cream.
We're gonna have fun.
Go have fun. Go do. Because time is precious. Time is precious. And anytime that you get a chance just to be with each other, anytime that you get a chance just to pour into each other, just to laugh at yourselves.
Yeah. Funny. So
you have to laugh at yourself. So let me tell you, maybe I put too much of my business out here. So I woke up this morning and I was like, good morning, Robert. And he looked at me like, girl, what was going on with you? I said, what? He was like, you were talking in your sleep and you were, and so y'all, he still didn't tell me. I was like, hey, I got a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie. I said, well, what did I say? He was like, I don't remember. Thank you, Jesus. He don't remember. I don't know what I said. So, but you gotta laugh at yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's when you find that, when you're with those people that you can laugh with and you can be yourself with, that is really and truly a blessing. And so I want to say thank y'all for joining us on tonight. Listen, if you want to come in contact with the Hargetts, you can do so. The Hargett halftime, you go to the Linktree, I ain't got my glass on, Linktree / the Hargett halftime. Also, don't forget Pure Elixir. When I tell you, it is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Any final last words you want to share with us on tonight?
No, I mean, we just thank you for this space. This is a very vulnerable and transparent space and that you've cultivated. And so we just thank you for trusting us and to have us on here. And I enjoyed it. And just like, I think you said someone in the chat, I can't see the chat, but like, just keep going. Like God has given us another day. If He does tomorrow, just keep going and keep going for whatever it is that He has for us.
Just keep going. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I was about to. I was about to say Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Okay, let me bring it. No, seriously, I'm saying just keep swimming. Sometimes I have to do that. Sometimes you have to just, whatever it takes to encourage you.
Yeah.
So again, thank you all for joining us on tonight. For our roommates that are tapping in on tonight, we want to say thank you for tuning in on tonight, our monthly chair chat. If you feel like you want to be a guest on this platform, feel free to reach out to us. The elite tree. We just thank God for all that He's doing there. Like I said, there's so many people who are doing so many phenomenal things, and it is our business to make sure that people know exactly what you are doing. I was thinking this morning, there's so many people who, when you are like, there's so many people who are Christians who are doing some absolutely phenomenal things that are impactful in the earth, and so it is our job to bring that to you. And so we want to say thank you on tonight for joining us. Again, don't forget to like, love, and share LSCM633. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, LSCM633. So you got people saying happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank
Blessings to
y'all.
y'all. And so, we are grateful. Don't forget their information is in the comment section. So if you want to reach out to them, please feel free to do so. I'm sure they don't mind. If they do, y'all just contact me and I'll have a conversation off to the side with them and say, hey, get it together. But anyway, so I love y'all. We love you. We want to say thank you guys for joining us on tonight. We pray blessings upon you. So listen, guys, again, this is what we talk about in the room, the place where we talk about what we talk about. So join us next week. We will be back in this space on next week. And so listen, hey, have an awesome evening, and we will see you in these Jesus streets. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
All right, good night, y'all. Thank you.